Assalamu alaikum friends. Today we will study about the life cycle hypothesis. As we know, this is economic theory which is focused on how individuals spend and save money over their lifetimes. So it is about saving and spending in the lifetime of the person. It motivates people to save for retirement during the earning period instead of spending all their income. So in this theory, people like to maintain same level of expenditure throughout their life, either by taking loans or using their income. It forms uh, this theory is a has some profound implication for personal finance and policy making. So let's see how it is came into origin. In 1954, this theory was given by Franco Modigliani, and his student Richard Bromberg introduced this theory, and it challenges previous consumption theories. And later in 1960s and 70s, this theory has developed, and empirical testing of the theory was done, and economists refined and expand its application. In 1985, Modigliani wins Nobel Prize in Economics. The hypothesis gains widespread recognition in academics. This theory maintains uh, is about the constant maintenance level of consumption through the lifetime, even if it means getting a loan or going bankrupt at the retirement. So this theory becomes so famous and it gets much attention. Now the second is core principles of the life cycle theory. First is the income smoothing. Means individuals aim to maintain a stable consumption level throughout their life. They have to maintain the constant level, or maintain a uh, stable consumption level, or constant consumption level in their lifetime, even if it means getting a loan or going bankrupt at the retirement. They maintain, because everyone has some consumption. That's why we didn't start with zero. It is in the graph we started with y-axis. So uh, in this, they save during the high income years, when the person of the income, as we see in the graph, this is the income and consumption curve. So the when the person's income is higher, let's see this. So it saves. This is a saving of individual, where the income is greater than the saving. And here his income is so low, so he can't be able to save. So there is this saving. And this in this stage, in the retirement stage, after the old age, there is also this saving, because he has no income, but consumption, there is some consumption, constant consumption is there. So there in the this is the life stage of different life stage: youth, middle age, and old age. And while on the y-axis, income and consumption. So first is he has to maintain a constant consumption throughout the life, and they save during the high income years. When the income is high, only the person is able to save, and he wants to save for the retirement, because there will be no job for him. Now second, forward looking behavior. The people make financial decisions based on expected future income. They consider their entire lifespan when planning. They see that their retirement will be once they retire, so they have to make some, for the future they have to make some financial decisions uh, as what will be the income in the future. So they consider their entire lifespan. As the life of the individual is so unexpected, but in this theory this is based on expected future income, and they consider the whole, they plan their retirement based on this theory, because they are well versed in economic studies during the three stages of life: youth for the loan and expenditure, middle age for the saving, and this saving in the retirement. Now thirdly, wealth accumulation. This asset accumulation follows a hump-shaped pattern. It peaks around retirement age and declines thereafter. So this graph we see, it peaks around, it has a hump, this has a hump, and it has some peak when the person is able, the retirement age comes. So this reaches, the income of the person reaches to the peak and then declines thereafter, and there will be no income after the retirement. So there is wealth accumulation, means there is saving in this period when the income is high. uh, and this theory is of consumption states that the people plan their consumption upon a portion of their anticipated lifetime income. So according to the theory, researchers assume that at each stage of life on the people's consumption level, one would experience no financial turmoil. Also, they do not save for the future generations. Italian American economist Franco Modigliani propounded the theory in 1954, and it was this theory has divided the life of the working employee into three stages: young, middle, and old age. And expenditure at all stages depend on their future income. In all the stages, we see in youth, in middle age, by considering their old age, they spend their money. Each stage has specific characteristics associated with earning, saving, and expenditure. And this earning, in the young age, in this stage, individuals tend to consume and spend a lot of money. They earn more and like to take loans to maintain their life, because in the previous, to continue their education, they take loans or something. So in with this income, they just pay their loans. So there will be no saving, and they spend a lot in the first stage. And second, in the middle age, the people like to have some stable finance for their families. So while in the third stage, the old age, the income becomes zero and dependency on pension and saving increases. Thirdly, if we consider the expenditure, so the expenditure is more than income in the young age, while in the middle age, expenditure remain the same but income gets increases. So expenditure is remain the same but income increases as their income increases. So in the third stage, in the old age, the person try to maintain a level of expenditure as before. If we consider the saving, so the saving become negative, there is this saving. If we consider in the middle age, saving in the middle age, so they manage to save some amount of money from their income after clearing all the debts. While in the old age, all the saving get drawn and this saving occurs because they have to maintain the expenditure with the risk of getting bankrupt. So these are the three stages of life, with some which depicts the earning, expenditure, three things: earning, expenditure, and savings. So this is all about the life cycle core principles. Now this in this life stages, saving pattern, young adult, as in the young adult, they don't save, they borrow for their education and career development. In the middle age, the peak earning years, high saving rate to prepare for the retirement. And the third stage, in this saving phase, individuals spend accumulated wealth to maintain the lifestyle. This is all we see in the graph. In the youth, they didn't save because they have to pay some debt. And this middle age, they have savings, but in the old age there is no saving. Now see this implication for personal finance. In the retirement planning, this theory emphasizes the importance of early saving, encourages long-term financial planning. This is good. And second, it is investment strategy. This suggests age based asset allocation. Risk tolerance changes with life stages. And thirdly, the debt management, explain the pattern of borrowing and repayment, help in understanding optimal debt levels. Fourth, inheritance decisions, influences decision about leaving bequests. and sorry because and after intergenerational wealth transfer. So these are the some implications, because the life is so unpredictable. they they can't save because they don't know the future. Now, fourth is the macroeconomic implications, aggregate savings, economic growth, and policy making. In the case of aggregate saving, national saving rates are influenced by population age structure. An aging population may lead to lower overall saving. As the population ages, their savings also reduced. So, as the case of the economic growth is concerned, saving patterns affect the capital formation. Uh, as the this goes as a Keynes theory, that if the person saves, so there will be stagnant economic growth, because there will be no expenditure. Expenditure is necessary for the economic growth. So the saving pattern affect the capital formation, and this impacts the long-term economic growth and productivity, because if the person save more, there will be stagnation in the economy. And third, policy making. Informs decision on pension systems and social security, and helps in designing effective retirement policies. So this theory has some macroeconomic relation. Now the criticism of this theory, as the assumption of the perfect foresight that the person is able to plan for the future. So individuals can't predict. The criticism is that it can't predict the future accurately. As a second assumption, rational behavior. So here the individual ignores the psychological factors in decision making. Third is the smooth consumption, as there is no constant consumption. Is very difficult to maintain a constant consumption throughout the life. So this is one of the criticism. It doesn't account for unexpected life events, and no bequest motive means some save explicitly to leave inheritance also. So these are the criticism and limitation of this theory. Now see our last slide that shows it is about the modern extension and the research. So in the behavior economics, incorporating psychological insights into the model, it accounts for cognitive biases in financial decision making. Secondly, the cross cultural studies, it examining how the theory applies in different cultural contexts, considering varying social norms and values. So as in some culture there are so many festivals, so many spending, so constant level of consumption can't be maintained. And third is AI and big data, using advanced analytics to refine predictions, leverage large data sets for accurate modeling. These are our further research. So this is all about the life cycle hypothesis. Thank you so much. If there is any problem, you can ask in the comment.